Good morning, everybody. What's really good? This is John D, one half of Doing Too Much, and I am next to
The do.
the Do, and I'm too much. So today we're going to discuss how we got to this point very briefly, and just want you guys to know that it has been an absolute thrill to work with my wife on our marriage, but actually eventually generate income to sustain our household. I'm really excited about this. You know how you say you talk things into existence? Well, that's what's going to happen because we are really excited about this product that we're delivering to you guys. But to give you a little bit about myself, I am a father of two, married to one beautiful woman. I'm Black and Korean, grew up in Louisville, Kentucky. I went to Michigan State in 96, so I kind of gave my age away. But nothing wrong with that because I feel just as young. I got my master's at University of Central Florida in Orlando, Florida, and I eventually got my specialist in mathematics in 2010 at Nova Southeastern, Fort Lauderdale, but it was online. We were living in Atlanta at the time. Former business owner. Kind of had a business with a friend of mine. It was actually his. He just allowed me to be a part of it, but it was called Two Men and a Broom. I don't even know if you remember that.
I do remember that.
Yeah, so, and then that kind of developed into me becoming a cigar bar owner. So I did that, and I retired from education this past summer to pursue becoming a better husband and a better father so that in turn I could be a better man. What you think about that?
That was a lot.
It was. Well, I mean, I guess
You ain't put no razzle or no dazzle on it, though.
I didn't because I'm still working on the dazzle part. But you got the razzle.
So I show up at Michigan State, and I'm trying to get a bachelor's degree. And I'm floating around at Western more so than at State. Western is like an hour away. That's where my best friend was. So I'm hanging out there for the first couple of years. More so. I'm from Lansing, Michigan. So, when you're close, when you go to State, people call you, what do they call us, John?
LL.
So
for those of you that don't know what that means, that's called Lansing Local.
He's so rude. So they used to call us Lansing Locals. So who wants to party with people who demean you as you are partying, right? So I would go to Western. Well, at some point, I meet this dude, Craig Valadez.
That's our guy.
He was very monumental.
Very.
Met Craig Valadez, and he literally opened up doors to friendships to a million different people. But right after I met Craig, he tells me, come over to my friend's house. So we about to play cards and stuff. So come over, and it's John's house. So John is cute. He cute. He loud. He extra. So me and my best friend are there. We're playing spades and stuff. And he's a flirt. And so, I was like, whatever. So we leave up out of there. And my best friend, I was like, hey. She was like, yeah, I said, hey. You stay at Western with your dudes, right? You leave this one here for me. Why? I don't know. So she and John could not be any more incompatible in the world, but I was like, this is a cute dude, you know, and I don't even be paying attention to people at state. So let me see what's up. So I find out that John is a cute dude and everybody knows this and they definitely have a good time with him. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm straight. I don't want to talk to him no more. Never mind. He'll just be a good friend. But he doesn't like to be ignored. So because I ignored him, it made him even more interested in talking to me. So you know how it goes. They get you hooked and then they back off and be like, hey, we just want to be cool, right?
No, what do you mean? I don't understand that. Getting you hooked.
Yeah, because I wasn't interested and you was like, oh no, you know, do you know who I am? I'm John D. You need to know who I am. And so then you talk to me for like 2 weeks every day straight. It would be great conversations. And then I was like, I really, really like this dude.
What was wrong with that? I don't understand.
And then you were like, hey, so I don't believe in relationships. I don't believe in...
But you weren't looking for relationships either.
I wasn't looking for a relationship, but I like open opportunities.
Oh.
I like the opportunity. So either way it goes. That's how we met. Fast forward, he graduates. He leaves to Orlando. I graduate. I go to U of M for grad school. And
is that Flint?
First of all, it was Ann Arbor, but there is nothing wrong with Flint's and U of M campus.
It is not. But, you know, I just recently saw a post that said that they do not acknowledge them. And I was like, we do not
acknowledge that university. That's not true. I would acknowledge Flint. They have great... they're connected to a great university. I mean, come on. But I did go to University of Michigan, Ann Arbor.
I know you did.
Sir.
I know.
So I got 2 masters there. And then when I graduated, bounced around a little bit. And he and I were, we thought we had run our course. Well, he did. And I was like, nah, you're not done yet.
Look, you know, as you say that, I'm like, I really did, like, because she was expressing things that I just didn't understand.
Yeah. I was really heavy on the love and love letter writing, and like, I was really heavy on that stuff. You will learn as we go through this and we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of building relationships and everything that gets us to this point in 2021. All of those things will be laid plain, but
for sure.
So we end up, we were on our way out the door or to end this, and that last minute pregnancy. So
yeah, it was definitely last minute.
Our first child.
Destiny, though, to say the least.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So our first child is coming. We moved to Atlanta to be together because he was in Orlando. And I was at the time in Michigan. I was considering moving to Chicago with my best friend. But Day came along. So we moved to Atlanta. We lived there. From there, he told you, he pursued some degrees and businesses while he was doing that. I added a nursing degree to, so in the end, we can, count your change in your pocket really fast.
Real fast.
Yep. While we were doing that, we had a second child. John's sister moved to Atlanta. My brothers moved to Atlanta. We had a big, like a family, friends who became our family. We had a really big village. Definitely. That we loved. And then we left. We said we wanted to change the scenery. We were trying to figure out, should we move to like Virginia or North Carolina? Maybe Texas. No, Texas is too far.
Way too far.
That's too far from our family because our family is, Midwest, whatever. So we moved to Abu Dhabi. We moved overseas.
Yeah.
Because we're dumb. But it was a great opportunity.
For sure.
We lived over there for 4 years. And then me and the kids, there were contract changes with John's job. So me and the kids came back to the States before he finished his contract. And we thought it would be a 9-month break. It ended up being about a 20-month break.
Yeah.
But during that 20 months, there was a lot of changes in who I became and in who he became. And it's funny because, how would we say it? It's funny because those changes were so necessary. Like, I grew up. I never got a chance to be a grown woman on my own and floating around other than grad school. Like, right after grad school, I worked maybe 10 months, and then we were together. And so a lot of who I was without John, I didn't know her, but I figured that chick out real quick, and it was right in the nick of time because he figured out, you know.
Oh, look. I had no idea that I existed.
He definitely became a different man. And it was right in time for this different woman, because this different woman was not set up to be with the husband she had before.
Hey, look, I want y'all to listen what she said. Look, she said she came into a realization that she possibly could not deal with possibly the best version in my mind that I had ever been. I had a new outlook on life. All I wanted to do was make my family happy. I was just trying to figure things out. Like, I was aggressively trying to search.
But I need you to visualize this.
Yeah.
So if you knew who John was prior to, you'd know how drastic the change is of who you're going to hear on this podcast versus who he used to be.
Yeah. So now I'm a lot more polished than I was, but the person that we're going to ultimately describe is a person who I can be honest to you guys that I was doing, like, I was just operating, I was just I thought I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. I was in my head, I'm thinking like,
you were hitting all the marks.
Yes, all the marks, the shiny packaging.
Hey, he was the husband. He had the daughter. He had the son. He had the wife. We had education. We were living overseas. We could take pictures. We were visiting different countries and stuff. So it all looked great. But hey, y'all, this man came back to me one day. He was one man in December of 2019 that I knew. And by the time he came back in the summer of 20, he had these locks, y'all, that he was growing, and he never wanted them to be, well, he might have wanted them to be neat, but they were all over his head. So they're all over his head. Imagine this. They're all over his head. And this man who has been, and I'm going to say this in the most loving way I can, super selfish and just moving around. And we were just we were definitely loved and cared for, but we were definitely actors in the movie that was John. We were supporting actors. And this guy came back and he was telling me about how he wanted to be focused on me, and he wanted to love me, and he wanted to be, hands-on with the kids, and he wanted to take time off to pursue this new purpose he had. And the new purpose was to be a husband and a father, and to lay himself bare for people to understand, or for men to understand, how to really, really be there and be present and be at every point like everything a father should be and everything a husband should be. And he just needed that. and all he needed was us, and he was going to reflect this out into the world and be the example that other people were to see. Now, y'all, if you knew John before, like I said, it was the movie was the John movie, and we were all supporting actors. And all of a sudden, this dude comes back and was like, "No, everything is about you." And then he got these locks sticking outside of his head all over the place, and you're looking like he's flipping, like the pandemic, him being on his own.
And I started participating in like medicine.
Oh yeah, and then this person who. The only substance I've ever seen him use was alcohol. And then all of a sudden he was like, nah, this plant. Well, to be fair, you were using the plant prior to help you go to sleep.
Correct.
Which wasn't a problem because he has insomnia. But all of a sudden he was like the ultimate flower child up in this mug. And I was like, oh no, this ain't gonna work. And I'm in my own transition, and he's like pushing, shoving all this love and stuff that I've never seen come from him. And I was like, nah, this ain't gonna work. I got to get out of here because he's losing his mind.
And mind you, when she's saying I'm losing my mind, and I'm thinking she's losing her mind, because I'm like, how do you turn down this guy who has figured out that he's been selfish, that he wants to show them how much he appreciates them? And it's like, I had no idea that she literally thought I was losing my mind. And in my head, I'm like, why is she treating me like this?
But I was on that level where I was like, now he wanted to be that person, but I was worn out, and I was on my, this is Kanika as a woman. We're going to respect and love Kanika as a woman, and we're going to honor her, and we're going to do what's right for her. And what's right for her is to find peace.
Yeah.
And when he came looking like the dude off of Back to the Future, talking all kind of stuff to me, I was like, this is not where peace is. This is going to be chaotic. I am out of here.
Hey, look, my mother.
Oh my God.
she thought she said I looked homeless.
She said he looked homeless, y'all. And so, here we are. He comes back. The contract is over. He comes back. And we had to sort out a lot of the gunk that was in that was a part of our relationship prior to both of our transitions or evolutions.
Yeah, definitely. And
here we are. Conversations were great. And like I said, he was on the, I want to talk about how to be a husband, and I want to talk about how to be a father. So here we are.
Yeah. And, I'll say this, that learning how to be your husband it hasn't been difficult, because I feel like I know that I'm capable of doing this stuff, right? But I'll say the most difficult part of being her husband now, the present one, is not making so many of the mistakes that she feels like if she just did it herself, we wouldn't be going through this. But I feel like over the course of time, it'll become second nature for me. But it is difficult when I'm seeing you do something and I feel like that's something that I'm supposed to be doing. And then in my head, I'm like looking and like, she was like, well, I'm hoping she's like, this is still early. They're still transitioning.
Hey, they only learn if they get to keep practicing. If I just take over.
Oh, I would. That's why I don't even want you to do it.
Yeah, I know. It's cool.
Yeah. So.
And so the hardest part for me in being your wife is that I have to give enough grace and time for you to show me who it is you want to be. And not just, I'm trying my best to interact with you knowing that your intention is to be better for me and not look at you and think of, because I got to a point where I felt like, I have to look out for myself and be more mindful of what Kanika needs. And I used to operate in this marriage wanting you to be able to do that. And I got upset because you wouldn't. And so now that you are, I have to constantly remind myself, like, allow this time for him to grow and for you to grow into this new part of our marriage, and not look at him as the John before. So it's taking me, that's the thing I have to put into play, to keep in mind that you are not that same man, so I can't be measuring you the same.
And I have to do a better job at knowing that you're not in my head, knowing how serious I am about this life.
It'd be a bit much.
Because I know, like, I be thinking, like, I try to erase everything overnight because I know.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is, I'm aware now that men can change. They can do a 180, but it's like people used to tell you all the time, you can't change that man. That man has to want to change for you. Well, it's possible for men to do an about face. It's possible for a relationship to flourish, like our relationship is a late bloomer in a lot of ways.
Without a doubt.
But just learning to look at this as a new relationship, a new person I'm learning, because you're taking down so many walls, and I myself am looking at my past and trying to figure out how it's impacted my decision making. It's like learning a new person.
Without a doubt. And I want you to know, like, my whole quest in the remainder of our existence is to show you why, like, I want to give you the world. Remember, I look, like I said before, I just want y'all to know I gave her some little glass dogs for Christmas, like when we first met, so that Christmas I gave her some glass dogs. She wanted a dog, couldn't afford it at the time, right? So
my granny thought them dogs were so dumb. Bless her little heart. She was like, "That's what he got you?" I said, "Oh,
listen, I got her that it was the symbol of that I would get her some dogs one day, right?"
Never did.
But ultimately, I told her I wanted to give her the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as we went through time, and she used to hold this against me too. She was like, whatever it is that she's not supposed to have, that she'll say, "But you said you'd give me the world." And I used to give in, but then she started using it for things that she knows better. Like, as an adult, she knows she shouldn't use, but I have been really trying to give this woman the world. And then when we moved abroad, I felt like I opened her eyes, or our eyes together, to like view in a lens that we hadn't seen before. And now I feel like I am trying to elevate that in another way, but it doesn't have to necessarily be like places. It can be just the way that we communicate with each other, so you can feel the energy I'm trying to give you to show you how much you mean to me.
Okay.
For real.
So, all of that to say in this long intro, we just want to let y'all know where we're coming from. So anything we say, we want to help people to, like, see a different way of looking at things. But we're not experts, and we're not giving lessons that you may leave this and it'll be a conversation. But like, that was an interesting conversation, but it's no take home lesson of what to do with your man or woman when you get out the door. Like, that's not what this is. This is giving you a different perspective of two imperfect people. And, you know, I say that part, like I'll tell, I'm able to sit here and say that the beginning of our marriage there were a lot of people showing up as their representatives. It was a lot of not even knowing that you were putting on a show sometimes, you know, for the other person. And now we're trying our best not to do that. So in this case, I'm just saying that we're not here to tell people that we are the expert, but we're just saying that, you know, it's like talking to your friends. You're like, you know, something interesting that I learned in this marriage thing. One thing you'll learn in a marriage, you need a crew of other married people because they understand differently. And we're all learning. And so I guess we're making y'all our crew as well.
Yeah.
And just saying, you know what we learned, or you know what, you know, we found.
And you know what you could do also, if you would like to hear a specific topic, you should leave something in the notes.
Oh, yeah.
And we will literally have a discussion on just the participation so you guys can see how we view it and how we break it down.
And nothing we do is rehearsed. Like, we don't talk about this stuff ahead of time and then come and be like, okay, now remember to put that point in there. No, I mean, it drives me insane because I'm a little more organized. So the fact that we come in here with no bullets bothers me. But, you know, we get some good stuff out of this. So I'm sorry if the intro seemed too long, but, you know, it's better when you know who you're talking to.
Definitely. And we want to show you genuinely, you know, our mistakes and what we would have done if we would have just had a little more awareness.
Yeah.
You know, so I know that there was a point in time where I started introducing questions that I just didn't know answers to groups of men. And it was like, it was an uncomfortable situation. And I'm like, who am I supposed to get these answers from if nobody wants to talk about them? Mm-hmm. So I felt like now that me and my wife have established this relationship where I have become extremely vulnerable to her. And I feel like the conversations that we have can help me help me find myself also. Mm-hmm. Because she sees me from a perspective, and in my head, I know that I'm changing, but I want to get better. And we have to learn to communicate with each other.
Yeah. So that's us.
That is
in
us.
A nutshell.
With 3 kids.
Oh, yeah, we have 3. So we have our daughter and our son, but we also have our nephew. Our nephew is the same age as our daughter.
20 days older than.
Yeah, they grew up together, and he went with us overseas actually for the first year. But now that we're back, we took him back just because we wanted to give him a different experience than he had been having at home. You know, he said he wanted to change his scenery. He needed it. And for a 14-year-old,
you want to give them, you want to give them the best chances possible, for sure.
Any 14-year-old that says that I need to change of scenery, you know what I'm saying?
And if you could do it.
Yeah. And so we are a family of 5, 2 boys, 1 girl, and a cute little Springer doodle named Kingston.
Listen, I'm telling you, this is a good looking dog.
Look, everywhere we go, somebody says that this dog is cute. So now John always say, "This is a good looking dog."
It is, and his coat.
Oh my God! Don't get him started.
It's luxurious.
Now this is the guy who did. He was mad that I went and got this dog. But the last time he left, before he finished his contract, the last time he left, he was saying goodbye to everybody. And he said goodbye to Kingston, and he dropped a tear. He was sad to leave his little pup. I have a picture. I have proof. But anyway.
Oh, I'm not denying it.
Yeah. So we are, that's what we are.
Yeah, that's our genetic makeup. And is there anything that you want them to take away from you going forward?
Me, yeah. I think that the one thing I want everyone to get from me is that I'm very careful about what I say and what I do, because I'm modeling for my daughter, and I'm modeling for our boys, what kind of caring and open partner they should be and they should seek out. I also want people to see me as someone that is very open, and I'm out for everyone to win. Everything I'm doing is out of love. My intention, I guess that's in every conversation. I want people to take that home and to look at their partner when they are arguing or not arguing and just say that, the intention is always love.
Always.
Yeah. So everything I'm saying, my intention is love. My love for my kids and what I want them to see, my love for my husband, and my love for anybody who hears my words and then they take it and they, utilize them. You're getting it from a good place.
I can dig that. That's a beautiful thing.
What about you? What do you want the take home to be with you?
I need everybody to understand that living abroad gave a different sense of peace. And when I ultimately decided to come back, my wife was really still trying to stay abroad. And I just felt like I had gotten to a point in my life where I know that we can always go abroad because we have these degrees that, like she told you, we can count the change in people's pockets really fast.
It's so fast.
So fast. And I know we can do that. It's like we're still young enough to like move like that. So why don't we bring the resources and things we've acquired abroad and see if we can build here so we can eat together here. So I need you guys to know that this podcast isn't like a thing, like a get rich quick type thing. It's more so just showing you how we view life now, being exposed to different opportunities. And instead of you guys having to do that, we can probably give you some things that now we know how to do a little better. So we want you to have some, like, our hands are your hands. So when you say, I wonder if I can do this, maybe somebody we know can give us some, like leave questions in. We can go look for those answers because our resources go further than yours. And maybe if we can give some ideas where you can get to your goal quicker, we can be that voice. But we don't want to say it's a right way, but we want to use our resources and give them to you. Because if we don't lift as we climb, we just watching other people leave. So that's what we coming back here to do. And this is the only thing I want you to take from me, is that I'm constantly working to become better every day. And I enjoy every moment of it because tomorrow may not be promised, but I love all my people today, for sure.
I love that.
No doubt. I appreciate it.
Well, I guess now it's time to say goodbye.
To all of you.
Yes, that works.
For sure.
So thanks for listening.
Attack the day with relentless tenacity, been all opportunities to your will.
I like that.
Boom.